Hello, everyone, tuning in the JMC Village. I'm Joshua Kent, coming to you here from Facebook and YouTube. Coming live just with another segment of Speaking with the Village. This is a time where I like to bring in a guest or a speaker to talk about some of the issues facing the world of foster care. This week, my plan was to cover the experiences of foster children. And I had a nice list of great, amazing people that were former foster children that I was going to, do my best to bring on here. And, it was kind of a happy accident that those who were available, those who were in my consideration just weren't available. It's a happy accident because that just means that these people who were once foster kids are engaged in their lives. They're continuing to live. They're continuing to thrive. Some of the reasons, they have graduations going on. They have other work obligations that they committed to. It is so great to hear that former foster children are just growing and thriving. So today it's going to be a little bit of a different Speaking with the Village. Still going to dive into the experiences of the foster children. But with the COVID world, we got to do a little bit of a pivot here. So what my plan today is to bring in some amazing speakers that I found on the internet that have been former foster children, and they speak about their experiences and the impacts that positive adults have made in their life. So let's get this started off. I'm going to bring you to www.joshship.com. This is an awesome motivational speaker. His name is Josh Shipp. I didn't just pick him because he has a great name. He also talks a lot about amazing things that parents and adults can do together. 12 books every kid should read before they're 12, and 18 books every teen should read before they're 18, and then some other topics that he talks about that are awesome. Maybe we'll dive into those in a later stream, but what I really want to engage with is his story. And before we start this, I just want to let everyone know that it's a powerful topic. The experiences that our foster children go through are powerful. They're not easy, but they are necessary to hear, so that we know what our foster children are going through. So I'm going to start the video here. I'm going to do some pauses just to kind of interject some things that I have to say about JMC, about foster children, experiences I've had. So let's start out. Let's hear from Josh. Right here.
I tried to kill myself with a bottle of pills. And the fact of the matter is I trusted no one. And looking back, I guess, how could I? From the time my parents left me, to the time another foster kid raped me, to the time I was bullied so bad, I genuinely could not fathom a world where I could trust anybody. So fast forward, here I am, 14 years old, and entering my umpteenth foster home. I was a veteran at this whole sort of getting kicked out of one home, moved to the next. You meet these people who were like literally complete and total strangers 10 minutes ago, who are now apparently your mom and dad. Kids don't take candy from strangers, just move in with them. So I'm sitting in the van, in the driveway of this next home, and that's when I see Rodney. He's standing up there on the front porch, and immediately I notice, this is a large fella. He's 6'5", he's 350 pounds, and as a 14-year-old boy, I couldn't help but notice, when he's turned to the side like that, he's shaped like a lowercase b. It's amusing now, but in the moment it was tactical. Maybe that's how I could get kicked out of this home. Maybe I could get under his skin about his weight. So I move in with him. I'm being obnoxious, I'm being ungrateful, I'm being just downright rude and mean, I'm setting things on fire, and 3 years later, I can't shake this guy. Rodney won't kick me out. So I step up my game. I go to the local bank in town. I open up a checking account. I put about $90 in there. Then I proceed to write $10,000 worth of checks. Obviously, checks bouncing one after the next after the next. One check that bounced was for my car insurance. I'm going down the road speeding, Stillwater, Oklahoma, 88 miles an hour. No car insurance, no driver's license. I get pulled over, handcuffed, thrown in the back of a cop car, and sent to jail. I call Rodney. Like, Rodney, I'm in Stillwater. I'm in jail. I'll tell you the whole thing when you get here. Can you please come bail me out tonight? He said, I will come bail you out, but not till tomorrow. Rodney frustratingly believed sometimes one of the most loving things you could do for a kid was allow them to sit in either the success of their wonderful choice or the stupidity of their foolish choice. Next morning, he comes, bails me out, exactly as promised. We had a long, very awkward car ride home. No one says anything. We get back to the house. He's like, we need to sit down and talk. And I knew this moment had finally come.
So that was a lot right there, but what Josh is talking about here is an all too real moment that so many of our teens experience so much. They know how people are bound to give up on them. They know that they've had so much experience that everything that they know is rejection, is loss. And they know that it's bound to happen. So a lot of these foster kiddos, just like Josh, are looking just for the reasons to get kicked out, are looking for someone to give up on them. So it validates their feelings about themselves, about their situation. They say, I'm not worth loving, ultimately is what it comes down to. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional because it's the truth. Ultimately, these kids look to ways to sabotage themselves. But, as you'll hear here, we as caregivers need to have stick-to-itness. That's part of something we talk about at JMC is what good parents make. Sorry, it's right over my face, but just so you can see it, these parents of foster kiddos need to be persistent, attentive, respectful, empathetic, needed. They're trustworthy. But they also have the stick-to-itness. Stick-to-itness to show that these actions that have maybe lost love in the past won't lose love in the future. So, keep listening to Josh here.
So Rodney, his wife, sent me down to give me the talk I've had a dozen times. He looks in my eyes and says, son, you can keep causing problems. You can keep trying to mess up. You can keep pushing us away. You can keep trying to get us to kick you out of here, but you've got to get it through your thick head, son. We don't see you as a problem. We see you as an opportunity. And in that moment, all my skepticism came to the surface. And I thought, what a cheesy, stupid thing to say to a 17-year-old kid. But then I was overwhelmed with the reality that this guy actually meant it. He didn't see what I was, what was on the surface. The obnoxious kid, the ungrateful kid, the kid getting suspended. He saw what I could be. It was genuinely my turning point.
So, as we see here, it wasn't Rodney giving up on him. There's no bad kids. There's just kids put in bad situations. He was ready to give up on himself because he thought Rodney was going to. But it took that stick-to-itness, and Rodney said, I'm not going to tell you you're a problem and kick you out and say, out of here, you're a problem in my life. In reality, all kids are opportunities because there are no bad kids. How can there be bad? If there are no bad kids, what makes bad adults? Is there situations they've been put in, the lack of support they've had. So ultimately, there are no bad kids, just kids put in bad situations. Rodney saw that, and it made Josh an amazing human right here.
Statistically, I am supposed to be dead, in jail, or homeless. But because of one caring adult. I'm not a statistic. Every kid is one caring adult away from being a success. Every child who winds up doing well has had at least one stable and committed relationship with a supportive adult.
And you see that it's not just a story. There's a study done by Harvard University showing that every successful child has the backing of one adult. And like Rodney, was just in there maybe for a fraction of his life. There's no time limit on how impactful you can be. One supportive adult can come from anywhere. I've had teachers who've been great supportive adults. I've been lucky enough to have some, parental figures as well be supportive adults, but ultimately it wasn't just a parent. It was other people in my life, other people in my village that said to me, you are worthy of loving yourself, of success. And it's really true. There's no time limit. You might not change the world, but you can change the world for one person.
My friend and mentor, Reggie Joyner, taught me to think about it this way. In this jar are 936 marbles. Each one of these marbles represents a single week from the birth of a kid until that kid turns 18 years old. So if you know a 9-year-old, you've only got 468 marbles, or weeks, however you want to look at it, remaining. You know a 16-year-old? You got 104 marbles remaining. Right here, we are looking at time. In fact, you're looking at all the time or all of the weeks you have left to influence this kid, or this kid before they turn 18 and begin making critical life decisions without your presence. The difference between a statistic and a success story is you.
And that is just gives me the goosebumps every time, because Rodney took the time he had. And if you're listening, it took from age 14 when he was placed with Rodney to 17 for him to realize he is worthy of love, and that Rodney truly did support him. And it was just Rodney's stick-to-itness. It was 156 weeks of caring for that child and showing that he will be present to make an impact on Josh here. Not me, the speaker, if you're a little late to the party, but 156 weeks. So we see our teenagers, age 16. That is 104 weeks that we have to make an impact. 728 days. We see kids for 30 days. 60 days, we see impacts. We see change. We see growth. We see them aspire to be more than what they believed they could be when they first came to us. 17,500 hours from the age you are 16 to the age of 18. That is so many moments that you can say the one thing that might be the turning point for a child. We have them for 720 to 1,400 hours, 10 times more. If you're willing to take in a 16-year-old, do you have to make that impact? 17,500 hours to make an impact on a child from 16 to 18. It doesn't take much. It takes one supportive adult. So that was awesome. Josh Shipp, an amazing person to listen to. Get goosebumps every time I listen to him. He is truly inspirational, and he speaks the truth. It is just one caring adult away from a success story. So the next one I want to bring you to here. Sorry, little ad. I do not support this ad. We're going to, oh my good golly gosh. So the next person I want to introduce you to here is Courtney Price Dukes, sorry. And she talks about, her first little section here is talking about Annie and how the narrative of Annie is played out, and how it seems like there are supports in her life, but in reality, it was people trying to really profit off her trauma and what's going on in her life. So I'm going to just jump a little ahead here. I recommend you go watch this TED Talk. It's amazing. The reality of foster care. We're going to kind of jump in on the last half of this. I think she makes some amazing points about foster care and the impact you can make. So let's start here with Courtney, about 7.5 minutes in.
Personal gain. Let us do away with the people that simply can do good and replace them with those that want to do good. Because you see, the world just doesn't need foster parents to stand up. The world needs good foster parents to stand up. Because these children deserve it. Now you see 33% of people.
That right there. I'm going to just play it one more time. I'm sorry. It's
good foster parents to stand up. Because these children deserve it.
These children deserve it. They deserve love, ultimately. They deserve to be loved. There's nothing that they've done in their life, in their situation, that doesn't show that they deserve love. So, thank you, Stormy, for tuning in on our live here. Stormy's a great friend, support, an amazing individual. But it's so true. Kids deserve love. There's nothing in their lives that they've done that doesn't deserve love.
Now you see 33% of people consider getting involved in the foster care system. Approximately only 2% ever do. So why is that? The big but. I want to get involved, but, well, I was thinking about it, but the excuses. You see, so many of us go through the millions of reasons why we can't do anything, rather than the one reason that we could.
That is so true. And similarly, our foster kids feel this. They think of themselves as not capable of greatness, like the great fosters of Nelson Mandela. We have had multiple presidents, Steve Jobs. There's amazing people who've been through the foster care system. They've had supportive adults along their way. People telling them, people putting in the time and saying, I want to take on this task. So a third of people are considering foster care, 33%. What is your but? What's the but that's holding you back from being the 2% or growing the statistic to the 10% now that care for our foster kids? What's going to be your but? What's going to make you feel capable and supported? Tell us, let us know. Come to us and say, this is all I need. This is all that is holding me back, because ultimately there's a way to come through it and to fight through it with love, support, and a village behind you. Children deserve love. And I think it should be an awful lot more than 2% involved in the foster care system.
The first excuse focuses on materialism. You see, I want to help, but I don't think I can provide them with. Now, besides the essentials of food, water, clothing, and shelter, foster children do not need special treatment. So no, they don't need some big house to live in, name brand clothes, or the newest iPhone. Now, while I'm sure many of them wouldn't fight me for it, a lack to provide should not be the reason that you don't get involved. Because let us be real, materials don't last forever. But the true love of someone can last a lifetime. So let's shift our focus from providing those temporary materials to providing these children with someone that will be there for them and support them mentally and emotionally, not just physically. The second excuse is, but I don't want to deal with the foster care system. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a very, very valid point. The foster care system can be messy. There may be days of miscommunication. There may be days of no communication. There may be judges and caseworkers that simply do not care. But again, we should not let that stop us from helping these children out. Because the fact that the system is messy does not disregard the fact that there are so many children being affected by it. Now, I love the words of adoptive mother Marlee Brinkley, where she states, you may not necessarily be able to fix the brokenness of the system, but your only job is to hold the hand of the one that is being wounded by its brokenness. Foster children don't need excuses. Foster children need advocates. And lastly, and probably the most common excuse that I hear is, but I don't want to get too attached. Now, as someone who loves really, really hard, I know how it feels to have the fear of attachment. But let us remember that these foster children need to feel that healthy attachment. They need someone to show them what a healthy, happy home looks like. So if you have the opportunity of having a foster child in your home, try not to think of the hurt that will come if they lose. Instead, be present and nurture them with so much love, care, and support that they can take with them. And lastly, just be there for them. Because these children have come from homes where they have felt like no one has cared about them. Let's change that.
It's just so true. And love is an action. It's not, and it's an action that is mimicked, that we have to show our children. It's not just a feeling that pops up. It's something that we intentionally show. So how are our children going to know how to love themselves, how to love the world, their neighbors, if we do not show them what love is? Every child is deserving of love. I do not know a child. There's no child in the world that is not deserving of love. And ultimately, they don't know it until they're shown it. So we need to show love to these children. And it's not just telling them that. It's showing them, being there. Love is an action. It's being present. For however long you can afford, whatever you can do, love our children. That's what I ask. All right, let's keep going.
So with all of this being said, what are some practical solutions? How can we be the sun that comes out tomorrow in the lives of foster children? First, we need to stop looking at the foster care system as if it is this distant problem that doesn't affect us. Instead, we who are able to help should help those who aren't able to help themselves. First, support. If time is concerned, simply support those who are foster parents. Take over a meal, offer to babysit, or simply be a listening ear for those hard days. If you know someone whose child has just been put in the foster care system, support them as well. Offer to take them to meetings, job interviews, and simply be an accountability partner for them so that we make sure that these children are getting placed back in a healthy, stable, and secure home. Number 2, donate. Help gather clothes, toys, games, and suitcases for children that literally come into the foster care system with a trash bag full of their belongings. Now, let me repeat that. They come in with a trash bag full of their belongings. In no way should we ever be making a child feel like they are garbage.
This is just so real. This isn't just a story that we hear perpetuated about the foster care system. It's not just like, oh, let's be dramatic and talk about them only getting trash bag. They are truly, I see it at my own work, at our own placement houses, kids being uprooted in a day's time, or they don't even get to choose what they bring. And it's just put into a trash bag. You might think, she's being a little dramatic, saying that they're trash, but what do they have? They have their belongings, the things on their back. That's part of their identity. That's part of who they are, who they choose to be. And if we're saying you don't deserve to carry it around in something else you can be prideful of, then what are we saying to them? That you are lesser? You just don't deserve that? I don't think that's right. And it is sending that message that they might end up internalizing later.
Number 3, mentor. Hang out with the foster child. Take them for ice cream. Simply just jam out in your car. The emotional investment that you are pouring in them is something that will change their lives forever. Be that sense of hope that they have. Number 4, patience, sympathy, empathy. Everyone's story is different. So never assume that you know a foster child's story, and never try to tell them how to feel because of their story. Your only job is to be present, be kind, listen, and actively engage.
And this is probably going to be the last time I pause before the end here, because she just said something so crucial, that a foster child doesn't need someone to feel sorry for them, to be there to say, oh, wow, what a tough situation. They know they're in a tough situation. They're not dumb. Sorry, that's a little harsh. Sorry. But they don't need sympathy. They don't need someone to say, oh, I'm so sorry. They need someone to be there and someone to show that they care. They're willing to take their time. Whether it is jamming out in your car. Whatever time you can give is time that you are either supporting a foster child, the families. So what time can you give? You don't need to just give your sad feelings. You can give your time. We have options for foster parents to take, children for a night, for the day. Give other foster parents a break. Let us know if you feel that you can give that time, that love to a child. We'll show you how. It's doable. Don't be that 33% or 31% that just says they think about foster care. Don't do anything about it. Be the 2% and grow that 2% to be the people who do.
And lastly, advocate. If you don't feel like you can do anything else on this list, advocate. There are so many people in the world who simply do not know the reality of the foster care system. Pass on your knowledge and raise awareness. Now, I am not just standing up here as someone speaking about things that I don't know about. I speak from experience. You see, I was that little girl who had to sit across from her mother in a family courtroom just to be told I couldn't go home. I was that girl who had to be convinced that she was doing the right thing by reporting years of abuse. I was that foster child who thought that I would always live the hard knock life. But now I stand up here as a 20-year-old telling you by actively engaging in the foster care system and helping these children out, you can change their lives. You see, I went from a girl struggling in some of my classes to getting 4.0s. A girl who thought that I had no future ahead of me to a girl getting a full ride scholarship. A girl who thought I was nothing to a girl who was literally living out one of her dreams and giving a TED Talk today. And this story isn't just special to me. Think of Simone Biles, Michael Oher, John Lennon, so many successful people who have been positively impacted by the foster care system because someone took a chance on them. Someone chose them. And with your help, I would love to make that the reality for so many other children in the world today. So I think what I want to do is rewrite those lyrics from the beginning. Let's change them to, they went through a hard knock life. Yeah, they went through a hard knock life. But let's show them that we're always there and show them that we will always care through those hard knocks in life. So take my words and put them to action, because you never know whose life you could change. No, you never know whose life you could save. Thank you.
So that was Courtney Price Dukes. Go check out that TED Talk. It was amazing. It was done in 2020. As you can see, there's only a few people in the crowd because of the COVID. But it is so true that these children do not choose their situations. They do not have a choice in where they are at, but you can ultimately choose to be there for them. You can choose to be the person that says, I'm willing to give some of my time, my space, my love, just to show that you're worthy of love. Because ultimately, every child is worthy of love. And we want to show you how you could best do that. Whatever it works within your own life, your own schedule, we can ultimately help you, support them, because they didn't choose their situation, but you can choose them. So thank you for everyone who's tuned in, who's watched this even after I went live. We really appreciate all your love and support at JMC. We're just looking to build this village, looking to find more support. So if you're interested in what we do, www.jmckids.com is a great resource. Check us out on Facebook. If you're not looking at us, I'm here now. So jmckids.com. You can also, if you're interested, to reach out to us, fosters@jmckids.com, or me personally, jkent@jmckids.com. Once again, that's fosters@jmckids.com will be a great way to get a hold of us. Or if you don't want to email and you want to talk to someone, give us a call. There's a number right at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, everyone who's supporting our village. We're truly looking to provide support for children who are ultimately in the most need. Provide support and provide a village, because it just takes one adult. It just takes one person willing to show that they care, to show the kids that they're worthy of love. But it takes a village to support that person. And some people don't have that village or feel like they are capable. We want to let you know that you're capable. If you have love in your heart and you're willing to share it, you're capable of sharing it with a foster child. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for watching. Once again, visit us at jmckids.com. Email us, fosters@jmckids.com, if you're interested in more. Comment below. I can reply on some of those comments. Thank you, everyone, for supporting JMC Kids, and I'll see you next month for Speaking with the Village. Thank you.